another aspect of your career, both at Davis and certainly in general, has been your commitment to the advancement of women
Yes.
in medicine and
Yes.
science. And again, I'd be interested in hearing as much as you're willing to share about both the genesis of that interest, the barriers you encountered, the successes you've achieved.
That was an interest of mine even when I was in graduate school, and I'll just share this one experience that when I was my first year, every student gives a research seminar, and I gave a research seminar, and the faculty evaluate you. And they evaluate you. They orally challenge you or ask you questions, and then they do a written evaluation. And I gave mine, and I had some questions, and I thought I handled the questions. And I looked at the written comments, and the written comment said, "You have a very nice voice." And of course, my question was, I wonder how many of the men got that comment. You have a very nice voice. And that had a significant impact on me. And as a result of that, I started chatting with some of the other women graduate students about having a presence at the podium and thinking about how to confront if that shows up in a written evaluation, because that takes up a lot of space that some other words could have taken up. So that was a lesson early on. And I actually talked to my mentor, Dr. Brody, about that. And I'm not going to share, I'm going to modify exactly his device, the way what he said to me, but he said, "Anne, every time you run into I'm going to use this word, not the word that he used, a jerk, just keep in mind it's giving you practice for the next bigger jerk that you're going to meet in your career." And I actually use that to talk to women students that were coming up behind me. And so it kind of became our mantra every time something like that happened. We said, well, it's just giving us good practice for the next iteration of that. And I also think that it was part of my, maybe just part of my DNA to sort of think about that. You know, my father, in a small town, girls start doing competitive sports in the 4th grade. So you do have this sense that you can be part of a team and you can manage conversations, but you can also manage physical activities. And there's a certain sense to me, like it's interesting that you can be a great basketball player in high school in Oklahoma, and the boys are good basketball players, and they go to college and think about sports, and you go to college and there's no more sports for you. And that seemed, I didn't appreciate that was the case so much. So I always had that. And I always felt that this notion that there weren't enough women in the pipeline, I'm not sure who started that notion, but I frankly didn't believe it. And I had a conversation with a colleague of mine, and we were talking about it, and she said, "This is the way I think about it." These are her words, not mine, but they stuck with me. She said, "I'll give you 3 women assistant professors. You give me 1 woman chair. And at the end of 5 years, I'll have more women on the faculty than you will." And that's when I decided I'm going to become a chair. And then when I became a chair, I magically, in the first recruitment, I think I had 6 slots, and magically 4 of the slots were women. And it's shocking to me, and all of them, I should say, are very successful now. So it was shocking that the pipeline sort of opened up once there was a women chair. And that became part of the way that I viewed what I do and how I think, that making a case to be sure that there's a case that women are part of the pool. And once they're part of the pool, they can do very well. So that was huge for me. When I was before I became chair of the department, I had another interesting experience, though, in cardiology. Although I was a PhD, I had a joint appointment in pharmacology and cardiology, and the chair of medicine said, and I want you to become the division chief for cardiology. And at the time, of course, it was shocking because I was not an MD. There were 2 women in the division. And obviously, there were some leadership challenges, and he needed somebody to do that, and so I was able to do that. And when I was in that position, I was able to recruit 2 women into cardiology. Both of them were MDs, and both of them had fabulous research careers. So I got to be, in some ways, in the right place at the right time where I actually could recruit women, and I was very proud of that and felt very privileged because I was in a position to be able to do that.